Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field. Sports, when you like your team's chances. Sports, to survive and advance in. Sports, for the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8. Yeah. Sports Channel 8. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Sports Channel 8 stream coming at you on a Friday. Brian Geisinger, Ben Swain. What? It's not Friday?
Yeah, you sound terrible.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
You sound better now.
Something's going on with this mic. Maybe you guys talk.
There we go.
Figure it out.
There we go. You had to tighten it, and that made the volume sound better.
Somehow. Oh, God.
Yeah. No.
Just equipment problems all over the place. Playing the wrong music. Look, do I need to reveal what's been going on this morning? Do I need to pull back the curtain? I don't think I do, okay? I think we just leave my trips to the bathroom on their own. But I made it in here just in time for the game. Brian Geisinger, Ben Swain joining me on a Friday. What's going on, fellas?
Not too much, man. Glad happy Friday.
Ready for some playoff hockey to start tonight, finally.
All right. I was going to start there. But yes, our predictions have been on fire so far at Sports Channel 8. If you recall, I nailed the first score, including an empty netter, almost called the Aho in the first one. So then we were trying to name scores, and we were like, but that's always lame predicting the score. But I was like, we got it right, so let's try it again. But this time, we got another prediction. I put this out on Twitter yesterday, but for folks who didn't see it, here was our prediction from Game 2, courtesy of Brian Geisinger.
The thing is, if Boston wins tonight, Game 3 will actually be Game 1, right? Because the series doesn't start until the Bruins win.
True. That's true.
You got to make sure we have the math correct here.
Yeah, we aren't even in Game 1 yet. The series has not started.
No.
Yeah, this is week 0 of the Stanley Cup playoffs right now.
So we're making fun of how lame it is. It's the oldest hockey cliche that the series doesn't even start until a home team loses a game. Is that right? Until a road team wins?
If we had like a better graphics department, cough, Moose, cough. Like what the transition that would have happened here for those watching on the stream is that when you played the video from Wednesday and then that ended and it came back to us all on the call here on Friday, we would all have like full like hockey playoff beards because the series was starting. If we actually had planned this out and had a credible graphics person on staff, we could have pulled it off. But
yes, our prediction came true because we were saying, look, the Canes are going to win, and the response is going to be lame dudes who are like, oh, even though the Canes have dominated at every step of the way, the series still hasn't started. And when you know it,
best of 5 now.
Lame Boston bros did come through, guaranteeing 2 wins, and then Carolina fans are so new to hockey and so uneducated they don't realize playoff hockey doesn't start till you win on road ice. Now, I will say, I'm feeling myself after the first 2 games. Like, I'm not saying series over. I'm not saying it's going to be a sweep, but like the Canes are a better team and they don't look intimidated, and therefore it's hard to see how they're going to lose this series. Correct?
Did you listen to any of the postgame? Did you listen to the postgame interviews, the locker room interviews?
I heard some of it on the radio. I think I was driving back from Mudcats game.
Yeah. So somebody brought up with Tony D'Angelo the fact that in the past the way to beat the Hurricanes in the playoffs was to push them around, and Boston's obviously trying to push you guys around, and you could almost hear him laugh as soon as he said it. It was like, yeah, nobody's pushing us around.
That's not going to happen.
But the best part of it, it wasn't even like he wasn't even like jacked up or like no way.
Who said that?
It was like, nobody's going to push us around. It was just like the most badass kind of answer to that question possible.
I should have. Maybe nobody embodied they're not going to push us around more than that's the kind of the annoying thing about the Bruins. I get when they had Zinedine Chara or whatever and some big dudes, but like their pass, the guy that pushes people around is like the smallest dude for them, right? So there was nothing better. I don't have this pick ready. Nothing better than when he tried to come in and intimidate the fresh on the ice 22-year-old goalie that towers over him, and that dude gave the nonverbal equivalent of the Tony DeAngelo answer of like, "But I'm not necessarily trying to fight you, but like I'm not like let's."
Also, like the other thing too, like if you're a skater, like a non-goalie, I feel like trying to pick a fight with a goalie is a bad idea. They're wearing a caged helmet and they're like tacked up in pads. It's like they're like a crash test dummy out there. Like I don't think you can hurt them unless you're actually like shooting a slap shot at them. You know what I mean?
So walking through what happened, right? So Cucci makes a save and he goes to like move the puck, right? Like try to avoid the whistle, try to move the puck. So Marchand skates behind the net, which is actually a good play, right? He wants the whistle, he wants the offensive zone draw, which makes perfect sense. But he kind of gives him a little cross check, right? So then Cucci stares him down and Marchand goes like full like battle axe, like I'm gonna slash the hell out of you, thinking that he was gonna flinch, but instead he just like skated at him and gave him like the head nod, right? Like we've heard many times that he doesn't speak good English. He's learning. Everybody knows what the head nod means, and he still doesn't do it. So then he gave him a little poke, and then he got the slash in. Like it was art. It was absolutely art.
Again, he's wearing like so many pads. It's like you get like, yeah, good, like, try to hit him with a stick. I dare you. Like he's
6 inches taller than Martin. Like that was the best part of the entire thing was, and I'm like a total. One, it's a nerd joke. Two, it's like way beyond relevance, right? But I put on Twitter the picture of the Game of Thrones episode with Mountain versus Viper, where it's like that's exactly what it looked like. This dude is just towering over Marchand. Like, what are you gonna do?
But like again, like also like NHL goalies, they're dressed like the freaking Michelin Man. Yeah. It's like you cannot actually hurt them. I feel like.
Well, that's not true because they literally hurt our goalie in the first period. So stuff does happen, but you're not, if you get. Here's the thing that people don't understand. Like getting hit with a hockey stick on a slash isn't like getting hit with a golf club or something. Like the snap and the whip of those sticks, like it is meant to be like a whip, right? And so imagine a like composite whip going on your wrist. And there are areas where it's not padded. Like that was actually pretty dangerous. And I don't know if he meant to do it on purpose, but you can see Cucci kind of turned sideways to protect his blocker side when he went after him, and he kind of hit him with the glove it's got more protection here. I don't know if he meant to do that, but like that literally can break your arm, a dude slashing you with a stick. So it's funny, but it's actually also very not cool that he did that.
And then we went right by the Bergeron, wasn't it Bergeron that went into Ronto? Pasternak. It reminded me of, do you remember when Alex Rodriguez?
Do they have any new players on the Bruins? No. It's like the same guy since I was in college. God.
That's what we said at the beginning of the series. It's the same dudes. It's the same dudes. Like
Bobby Orr's been solid on the fourth line for them. He's been holding down. No, but do you remember the play a few years ago when A-Rod, I think it was in a postseason game, like ran through a first base, like it was a close play. The guy was catching it near, and A-Rod slaps the ball through it and like tried to pretend like it was like, oh, it was natural. Like that's what that dude running into Toronto reminded me of. Like it looked like he was clearly going to miss him, and then he was like, wait a minute, I don't want to miss him. So he's like, oh no, I accidentally hit him when my arm went by. It was like the most awkward. We were talking the other night about that Predators one where I was like, something looked unnatural about that goalie, and you said he was probably trying to knock the thing off. Like, it was just unnatural the way that he, like, oh, I'm avoiding with my hips, but then my arms go flying out to the left to, like, make sure they hit him. That it reminded me of the A-Rod thing. It was just so dumb. But more than the goals, the goal total itself. And now what's the season total, regular season?
46-4.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. But, like, seeing them stuff 5 dudes in the penalty box, go at cheap shots, trying to like stare down our rookie goalie. And it didn't even put in my head, but Rod Brindamore basically answered the question saying, like, yes, I think they know that we come in without our top goalie, and their best chance is like maybe we can get some third or fourth string goalie and they'll suck. And so that's a pretty if that is true, like if I don't know hockey well enough, but like I guess there's one thing of like, hey, let's be the heavier team or whatever. Like, in certain basketball series, some teams try to be the more defensive, whatever. Yeah. But if you're just straight up, hey, let's throw missiles at their goalie, that's, again, I don't know hockey code enough, but like that's pretty dirty, right?
I mean, I don't think that's way off base, but think of it this way: like if we were trying to do that to Boston, would we send Sebastian Aho to run their goalie, or would we send Jordan Martinook to run their goalie?
That's true.
So like that was the one thing that kind of made me roll my eyes at that a little bit. Like, yes, Boston might have said, dude, if we can get to their backup, we've got a better chance but they're not going to send Pasta to do that. Like, that's their best player. They're not going to send them to do that.
No, that's true. You got to send
I feel like if the Canes are trying to cause an insurrection in the crease, then Tony D is probably the one to send.
I can't remember this guy's name. But Swain will have it to me. When you want to explicitly injure the other team, you send in your walk-on soccer team player guy.
You're Patrick Davidson.
Patrick Davidson. I wanted to say Patrick Beverly and Brad Davidson. I knew I was close, but I knew it wasn't.
Honestly, like it's all the same.
That's just the same person. Yeah. There's going to be a Beverly Davidson in the WNBA, and they're like, wait a minute, watch out for that girl. Yeah. Yes, just Patrick Beverly Davidson.
But the best part of that is, again, like I just said, he's their best player. He is it hands down is their best player. He disappeared after that, and it was because he was shying away from any contact. Because I think in his mind, he's like, dude, they're going to beat my ass.
Marked man.
And he was scared. Like, he was shook. And that was a huge part of that game, too, is that, again, their best goal scorer is out there scared to get in any kind of physical altercation because he knows that he did something that pissed off the Canes. The anger over the Svetch hit, like, that is the most textbook hit I've ever seen. And they made a really good point. Like, on the NHL Network, I watched it the next morning. They made a great point. Like, if you watch the hit again, Lindholm has this much of his stick.
He's holding it
in his hand.
Yes.
Which means his stick was here when he got hit, and Svetch went directly through the stick, which is a perfect hit. Like, that is the ultimate evidence that was a perfectly clean hit. That it came right through his chest, and just the dude had his head down. I think he was shielded by the goalie. Like, he's coming around the back of the goal. I think he was shielded by the goalie, looked up and was like, oh, shit.
Dude.
And then Svetch just murdered him.
It reminded me, it happens now in the NFL. Like, we've actually done a pretty decent job of not letting guys just, like, launch themselves into the air and crack your head while you're trying to catch a play. But every now and then now they'll be like, guy catches, lands, and like the linebacker doesn't even like launch, but just is in good position, readies himself, and gives that shoulder into the dude's chest, and it still gets the flag because it's like that guy just went down too hard. That just looked like it could be an old school bad hit. And now in college now they'll go review it and be like, no targeting. Like the dude, he crumpled the guy, but it was like kind of legal. That's what I felt like. I know that the Bruins, it's almost like code, you got to jump in because your boy just got laid out. But I even felt the way they were going after Svetch was kind of like, all right, we're going to hold you here because we have to. But, like, if we thought it was dirty, we'd be throwing some blows. And instead, we're just doing the, like, hey, we're good teammates, so you're here. But, like, it was I even thought they were recognizing of, like, that was not a cheap shot.
Do you guys remember the dude, the Bruins play-by-play guy on Twitter the year when Chara hooked Svetch and Svetch, like, hurt his knee?
Is it Jack Edwards? Is it the dude that used to be on ESPN?
Made the comment about like, "Hey, you poke the bear, you deserve to get hurt, man." when that hit happened, I saw the NESN replay where he does it, and he's like, "Oh, the league's gonna take a look at that. Look, he launches himself right into. Oh, that's definite suspension. Like, it's a perfectly legal hit. The dude that was like, oh, sorry, you deserved it."
He snapped this dude's, like, Swain, you were just describing, like, the way, like, hockey sticks are made. These hardened composite blades that are wooden blades. And, like, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just now looking at this hit on my phone.
It was it's like he was holding like a long piece of styrofoam. That's how
snap, like hits this dude through the stick as you were describing, and breaks the stick like it's a twig. Like it's like at the end of it, Lindholm just holding the knob.
That's the other thing that reminded me, and this is like kind of scary. And I mean, Stats after the game was like, dude, I feel bad. Like I was there in great position and the guy didn't see me. I feel really bad. I did hit him hard. Like he didn't even give the like, it's a physical game. We get hit. Like he was like very apologetic. But that, and I'm not trying to be funny, but it reminded me of also when NFL dudes get laid out and they start doing like weird things with their hands, and you're like, oh, that's a bad. Like that's what Lindholm looked like. Where it's like he thinks he's still holding a stick. Like his hands are like grab this, and like his goalie was like, hold on, buddy, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean
somebody in the Canes subreddit made the comment that it was like the opening scene to Saving Private Ryan when the dude's like walking around with his like he got the leg in his hand or something like what I'm talking about. Yes. It said it reminded him of that, and that was a perfect description of that. Where it's like, wait, I shouldn't have this in my hand, but I do.
We better say something, Brian.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like when the camera first cuts to Lindholm, like the scuffle is the squat, like guys are squabbling on the ice. Then the camera cuts to Lindholm, and like you said, Hayes, the goalie, Boston's goalie is helping him up. Like, he looks. To borrow an expression from Richard Linklater, he looks dazed and confused.
Yeah,
there.
And again, not trying to hurt people, but when you're winning the physical game and like it doesn't, I don't expect to see Lindholm back tonight, but I don't know what his prognosis will be for the rest of the series. There is a little bit of me. Well, actually, maybe I won't even go there. Just saying, I wouldn't hate it if the Kane. Oh, never mind. Let's just go for a sweep, regardless of a longer series would give us time to do more creative things, but let's just take the sweep and go.
A sweep helps us considerably with our goalie situation, right? Like,
yes,
like the Rangers and Penguins are 1-1 right now. If that goes longer and we go 4-0, that's more time for Freddie to get better and get back. And maybe Raanta plays tonight. We'll have to see, but definitely Freddie gives him more time to get back. So we would absolutely love a sweep. Sweep is something that we should be striving for. This isn't a just win the series situation. This is a go for the sweep, get the rest, get your goalies back, and let's go.
Yes, I was being very selfish and specifically referenced if you were trying to do something creative related to the Boston series and you hope you had to Tuesday to get it done instead of Sunday. That would be helpful. But overall,
you don't want to start working on said thing because that's kind of a jinx to do.
No, exactly. Well, but the other thing is you have an idea and you start it before the series. You're like, okay, I'm going to base it off the history with Boston. But now things are happening in the series, and you're like, oh, I got to put that. We got to have to work that in. So it's we're walking a tightrope here. We'll see what the Canes give us. We'll see what it looks like tonight. It would be nice to win tonight just to
shut
up the Boston the series doesn't start, guys. Go up 3-0, and then the series is basically over. However, whether it's 3-1, 4-1 or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Other
end this quickly and make Boston fans have to sweat Giannis, right? With the Celtics and Bucks not out. You make them focus on Giannis here for the next couple of weeks instead.
Other hockey related thing that was making its way across the timelines. I think Swain first maybe spotted it on the Canes subreddit. We will try and leave the political ties out of this. Maybe it'll be easier without Josh Goodson here to spar. But on the Raleigh Liberal Moms group, this is just amazing. And it'd be even better if it were parody, if somebody knew exactly what it was, but I don't think it is. On the Raleigh Liberal Moms group, somebody says, hey, y'all, my neighbor down the street just started flying this flag. It's a U.S. maritime storm warning flag. Is my neighbor just enthusiastic about weather forecasts? Or has this been adopted as a political meaning that I'm not aware of? Thanks. I would love if Swain had been the first person to see. I know you didn't see it on Raleigh Liberal Mom, Swain. I know you got booted from there a few years ago.
I did.
For not being a mom.
Yeah.
Or liberal, or from Raleigh.
Yeah.
But I wish somebody would comment and be like, oh, no. This is more of a upside down pineapple type sign. This is not political. This is you need to go over to that house on Friday nights because they're sending out a word that the party is on. And it's the kind of party you want to see. Oh, but for folks who can't see and watch us, it is the storm warning flag They clearly, any Hurricanes fan would know, like, they're putting it up for the playoffs. It doesn't have Canes on it. It's just, the red flag with the.
And I understand the confusion because there is a difference between a Storm flag and a Hurricanes flag. If there were two flags, it would be a Hurricanes fan. So I'm going to give.
Oh, that's true.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that this Raleigh liberal mom is just a super fan that is pissed off that they've got a Storm flag instead of a Hurricane.
Pacific Hurricanes.
What this reminds me of is the classic Onion headline after the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup in 2006, which is this is from January 22nd, 2006. Onion headline: Carolina residents confused, terrified as victorious Hurricanes players riot in streets. Raleigh, NC, only hours after the Carolina Hurricanes won the NHL championship Monday night in a hard-fought Game 7 against the Oilers, North Carolina Governor Michael Easley mobilized the National Guard to contain over 24 members of what he described as, quote, some sort of depraved, violent, heretofore unheard of gang calling themselves the Hurricanes. A classic Onion story. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that it did remind me of that too.
Swain, I am impressed. I knew it, but it did not cross my mind at the time until you said it, the difference between the just storm warning flag and the actual hurricane flag.
But the only reason I know is the Canes used to have this on their jersey.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to the two flags because people were like, dude, that's a storm flag. That's not a hurricane flag. So that's the only reason I know that. I do want to say probably the best hiding place in the world for racist white women is the Raleigh Liberal Moms Facebook.
Wait, why is she racist?
No, she's not. I'm just saying, I guarantee you that there's a lot of racism going down in the Raleigh Liberal Moms Facebook group.
The Raleigh Liberal Moms, but like they don't want poor people being bused to their kids' schools, that type of thing. Yeah. You're right, that exists. I don't have a ton of other sports things to get to today, boys. Do we want to jump straight to Rightly Rated, or do you guys want to talk the college football breaking away and becoming professional? Do you have interest in talking on that on a Friday? I feel like I'm trying to think of other sports things I saw making the way around.
I'm worried about Goodson, though, because he's not here, and they've just said, starting yesterday, that they want people to start cracking down on the
NIL,
the booster-led collectives. So I'm concerned why Goodson's not here.
I'm a little upset that Goodson didn't get into the full-on booster game when boosters was a thing. Like he was never an outlaw. Like he's like the lame, he's like a deputized booster now, it just doesn't have nearly the cool cachet or appeal of like $500 handshakes,
The couple of years ago, I think it was Stephen Gottfried when he was with SB Nation wrote an amazing piece
great
on
story.
SEC bagmen. And it's not always the asshole Alabama alum that's in charge of some insurance business. You know what I mean? It's the guy that makes $80,000 a year, but loves Tennessee football. You know what I mean? It's like that guy. Basically it was these guys that make a comfortable living, but it's less comfortable because they're willing to commit 10 to 20% of their salaries to make sure that this safety comes in place for Arkansas next fall or whatever.
Yeah, everybody assumes booster. What's the guy's name down at Miami? Not Shapiro, but
oh god, the
Buddy Garrity.
What is it again?
Buddy Garrity, I believe.
Yeah, John Ruiz is his name.
Ruiz. So everybody thinks the booster is that guy, billionaire that's just shoveling money to everybody. And instead, it's just a patchwork network of a bunch of people who make good money and are willing to spend, a couple $1,000 on their season tickets, and then that same amount on making sure they got the best players. They're like, all right, you're assigned to this guy. Just when he needs $500, go have lunch with him and make sure he gets the $500.
Or if you play basketball for UNC, apparently that network includes a literal network in Netflix also now.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
We didn't talk about that.
Armando Bacot. This broke right at the end of our show Wednesday, but I guess part of the new NIL deal, you can now get paid for acting. And Armando Bacot showed up in, is it Charleston?
They're filming season 3 of Outer Banks in Charleston, which is always one of the, that show is dumb and funny for a lot of reasons. Partly because they always try to pass it off as the Outer Banks, but it's so obviously the Low Country. It's so obviously Charleston. You know what I mean? Like, as someone who spent a lot of time in both those places, it looks nothing like the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
Like,
the Outer Banks has all these like kind of weird coastal communities, even like their own dialect in some places, depending on where you get, like if you get up to like Wanchese and stuff. But like, yeah, and there's parts where it doesn't. I mean, we need Goodson in here.
Jesse, by the way.
Oh, sorry. The Outer Banks has beautiful beaches, but it's also not like it's not Florida. It's not like this long stretch of white sandy beach, right? There's like little towns and fisher coves or whatever. And just it's not.
Or we're gonna go hit the club. We're gonna go hit the club.
Exactly.
There's none of that.
Yeah, that show's strong suit is definitely like not geography. Like they've established that. It's like the show is like proudly Carolinian, but they ignore every convention of the Carolinas in terms of geography to make it.
They should have just called it. I don't know what they should have called it, but they should have filmed it in like Wrightsville. They could have gotten away with doing it in Wrightsville. There's enough
or Wilmington.
I meant Wilmington and Wrightsville.
There. Well, yeah, why not do it there?
There's enough like fratty white guy things to make your.
I honestly think that would piss off North Carolinians more that they do the Outer Banks in like Brunswick County. Yeah, that would piss people off more than anything.
As soon as I saw the first person who I saw. All right, so I'm gonna have to chime in on this, JJ. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you a scapegoat. You guys know Andrew Batchelor. I know, I'm sure one of your favorite Twitter followers, big UNC fan, Batch dude, UNC and sports. Now, he's a buddy of mine. I've known him for a long time, but he's private, and I swear, so like he can't be retweeted and stuff. And I swear he was the first person that I saw tweet it, but he couldn't. He couldn't be retweeted, right? So I think people were like alerted to it by that, and then it's just quickly made its way to all the like Carolina things. I wanted to get the joke in first before anybody else did, but I couldn't think of a good wording to be like, everyone is going to do the lame ferry to Chapel Hill joke. It's been beaten. Like every time OBX comes up, like the response is like, ferry to Chapel Hill, ferry to Chapel Hill, ferry to Chapel Hill. It's like, dude, we made fun of it. We need something new. It's been running to the ground. So I was trying to come up with the don't be the lameoid who goes ferry to Chapel Hill. And of course, then I saw many of them, and then I couldn't say it afterwards because then it looked like you were just calling out other people. Swain actually had a much funnier joke. If you were going to make the joke, the only one was, is Armando Bacot the ferry from OBX to Chapel Hill, which I thought was the best take of it. So sorry, JJ, I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying we need other OBX jokes, or like, make it an Armando joke if you want, right? But the ferry to Chapel Hill, that ship has sailed, okay? We're not doing that joke anymore. Find a new joke. And Swain cornered the market on Armando jokes because he's a big dude. He could be a ferry.
My favorite thing about the entire situation is that his character's name is Mondo.
Mondo.
Is incredible. Like this dates back to the movie Singles, and I don't know if either of you guys are a fan of the movie Singles, but Pearl Jam is in that movie. Yep. Their band is Citizen Dick.
I couldn't remember the name, but I knew it was something. Yes,
yeah, because their hit song is it's a play on Mudhoney's "Touch Me, I'm Sick." It's "Touch Me, I'm Dick," which is incredible. But so they've got a fake band name, which is funny. But then they make a point of every character's name is the actual name of the person. So they're like, lead guitarist Eddie Vedder. Because he's not the singer, right? What's his face from Something About Mary is the singer, but it's like his name's Eddie Vedder and Jeff Ament. Like they can't answer to anything else on set. You're like, all right, we need we need Freddie on set right now, and Armando Bacot's over in the corner like, we need Mondo on set. Okay, I got it. I think that's why they do it. Is that celebrities that are famous for other things than acting don't know how to answer to anything else.
I want to make a prediction, by the way, here too, with Armando getting set to make his debut as Mondo. As someone who's seen every episode of The Outer Banks and watched season 1 when I was in a very dark place during the first couple of months of the pandemic, I think Armando has a chance to be the best actor on that. I think he really has the chance to be the best actor there. So.
Well, has anyone else on that show gotten someone from Louisville ejected? I don't think so.
No,
we already know.
No, I don't think
I'll also say, have you ever I don't know that Armando specifically fits this. He does I don't remember a whole lot of Armando interviews. Like I remember him post the win at Cameron. He took the time to shout out honor Coach K is like one of the greatest or whatever. But there's like football players and other folks who.
Well, of course, Coach K made Armando Bacot's post-game interview after that game about such a Coach K move to do that, to make it about himself.
Is he gonna be on Outer Banks?
Yeah.
Is he gonna be on Outer Banks?
He should be. I'm just saying he seems like a thoughtful guy. Every now and then there are NFL dudes or like football players specifically, and this is being stereotypical, who you can tell they're intelligent, but they do not often they don't, when you first hear them talk, you're like, oh, I'm not sure that guy's smart. But then you see them write or you hear them talk, you're like, that guy's really smart. I want Armando almost going further than what you're saying, BG. Like you know what you're expecting. You're like, well, guys, where's the party tonight? Like he's gonna get that line or something, like what like you guys can use my boat. Like those are gonna be his lines, right? Yeah. What if Mondo just gives the most poignant. There's a 60 seconds, some music comes on, and he's like, fellas, sometimes, life is like being on a boat. You gotta go with the winds, and seriously watching, you're like, damn, this is good. You're what if Mondo just absolutely moves people as the thoughtful sage in
I want them to write him on 30 Rock, like they write .com, who's one of Tracy Jordan's, Tracy Morgan's, but he's this he's a huge guy, but his whole thing is that he's highly intelligent and has a tendency to sort of show off, and so everyone is constantly getting annoyed with .com because he's being pedantic with his responses or whatever, and so I would kind of like that. I think there's some potential there for that. Kind of building.
I would also love to see him as Darius on Atlanta. If he was Darius on Atlanta, that would be incredible.
I'm laughing and nodding like I know, and I don't.
I'll throw something at you that you will know that I'm actually sad that Goodson's not on the show to talk about. How good would Armando Bacot have been as the extra volleyball player at Malibu Sands?
Yes,
outstanding is that.
Instead of that tall, lanky guy, who do they bring in? Steve or somebody, and then he even breaks his ankle. I feel like
he breaks his ankle and can't play, but they win anyway. So
Mondo would have limped out there and played. Okay, Mondo would have played through the first two ankle rolls. Okay, maybe the third one would have sidelined him. Yeah, no, I want Mondo to basically go like Silent Bob and Chasing Amy and give the all his lines are like, yep. Need more gas? Where's the party? And then all of a sudden, at the end, he's like, life is it's a fickle thing, boys. Yeah. The waves roll in, the wind, takes you places. Let's talk about Raleigh Liberal Moms some more. If Mondo was actually on the Outer Banks, there would definitely be liberal moms that would be like, "What, dude? I'm supposed to be here enjoying my vacation with my family, and Mondo is staying." That would definitely be something that's posted in Raleigh Liberal Moms. Do they allow dreadlocks bleached yellow in Charleston now? Guys, I'm not sure. I hope this is part of a TV set or something. This is not what we signed up for our spring.
That's how you know it's in Charleston and not Outer Banks.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving to Rightly Rated. I had an all animal edition of Rightly Rated, but first we got to play the music for Rightly Rated. Let's see if I can get the music right.
I knew it was going to be the game show. I knew it was going to be the game show.
All right, first up on Rightly Rated, Nespresso. Is Nespresso overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? This comes up because over 500 kilograms of cocaine was found in a coffee delivery of Nespresso. BG, you're our coffee guy. I'm not putting anything else on you. You drink more coffee than the rest of us. Is Nespresso overrated, underrated, or rightly rated?
I think it's overrated. Personally, I enjoy them. I find the machine was initially I'm maybe about to out myself for being an idiot, but I thought the machine was hard to use the first time I used it. I assume the like environmental impact of the Nespresso machines because they're like separate pods that you like put in them.
Sure.
And I know with Keurig cups that's often an issue. Hopefully they've got some some better ways of like recycling that material or whatever. But I think the coffee is fine, not great. Nespresso machines overrated, though I do enjoy them.
Swain.
I'm just gonna point out that I always wondered how Nespresso could afford George Clooney as a spokesperson about his career, and now I get it. Now I understand.
Well, it's like George Clooney is actually like the thing is George Clooney is actually like his character Michael Clayton in the movie Michael Clayton. Clooney is broke and he needs a quick come up. So
he just needs some money. Yeah,
he's there to take the Nespresso money. Yeah.
Nespresso overrated, even with $50 million of cocaine sprinkled inside of it. All right, now we're going to the all animal edition of Rightly Rated. You ready for this one? And I don't even know.
Hold on, before you move on, I always have an issue with foreign currency when it's like 50 million Swiss francs, which is the equivalent of 50 million American dollars. Like, what? Just have one currency, right? Like, don't have different currencies that equal the same amount. Like, just have one currency.
Swain pushing us all to go. That global Swain here. I did not expect that move from you.
We're gonna pull up Swain on Twitter. You're gonna see the globe emoji next to at Ben Swain on Twitter now.
Should we just use the gold standard? Should we just all have like
crypto? Let's go.
All right. These are good. You guys need to be ready for this.
Did you see the story this week about how the NFT market is tanking? By the way, like
I'm shocked.
Huge surprise. Yeah, huge.
All right. There's a couple things involved here. An anaconda's play date with dolphins took a strange turn. All right. So I don't know. We can go with anacondas or dolphins. You can pick.
So is that an expected turn that an anaconda was hanging out with a dolphin? Is that?
Maybe we're going to get to what the strange turn was here because I read this whole article and I'm going to tell you the lead is buried. I'll get to that in a second. You get to pick dolphins or anaconda. This whole story is basically researchers, and it made you realize like there are people who do this. Like if you spend your whole life researching like a certain type of dolphin, you literally might spend days like in Africa sitting at this one river finding dolphins at this one time of year. And they're like, we don't see many dolphins upriver. We've never seen, in the history of recorded observation of animals, we've never seen dolphins carrying around an anaconda in their mouth. And so they were trying to be like, were they being playful? Did they not realize that they were hurting the anaconda? They said the anaconda is almost definitely dead. Was it parents trying to instruct young people like, yo, these are dangerous animals that could beat us? And that's, or was it, whatever. They went through all the behavioral things that they thought it might be. Okay. So like, I'm going to scroll through here. You'll see how much the article goes through. This is 2021, says the river where they are. We're scrolling down. They're like, oh, the snake's not having a good time. They're trying to guess what it was. Because of how long the interaction went on, the team suspects play, not predation. So like they were just having a good time. Then hold on. See how long the story's going. We're like 12 paragraphs in, and we finally get to this. Something else from the photos was notable. The male dolphins' erect penises. It could have been sexually stimulating, said Diana Reese, a marine mammal scientist and cognitive psychologist. It could have been something to rub on. How is that not in the headline? We are 3/4 of the way through the story before they tell us that the dolphins may or may not have been aroused by playing with the anaconda in their mouth. The aroused males could have been making a sexual romp with each other before the snake became entangled. No Madison Cawthorn jokes here, but are anacondas or dolphins overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? Go wherever you want with this one.
First off, the headline for this just should have been dolphin sex, like all caps, exclamation question mark. That should have been the well played. JJ says my
after the Land Fairy joke with the my anaconda don't want none of this. That is correct. Sorry, what were you saying, Brian?
I just to answer, I'll say anacondas rightly rated. They're terrifying. Dolphins underrated. They're a pretty cool, smart, and seemingly provocative animal. So shout out to them.
Swain,
dude, you ruined it because I was gonna say, like a scandalous sex romp and no legs were involved, so it's Madison Cawthorn.
I will say one of my life goals has been to like swim with dolphins, and like because I've been in boats down, not at the OBX, but down in the Crystal Coast, and you're like close enough, or you're just swimming at the beach, and you're like they're not that far out there, and you're like I think I could get out there, and you hear of people or you see like videos, and like most of the times the dolphins, are like, oh, this is cool, we're like playful animals. But then also I've watched blackfin, and I know that's like killer whales, and you see dolphins play with anaconda. You just don't know. You're in their world, and at any time they might decide, oh, you're the toy that we're playing with, or we don't trust that you're playing with us, and now we're just going to beat the crap out of you. So
especially now that we know dolphins are into some weird shit.
Apparently. And the final animal, no, that was only the first animal one. We got more animals. Next up. Wild fox breaks into DC's National Zoo, kills 25 flamingos. Are foxes overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? Yeah, this thing got out, and it was like, I'm trying to think of the equivalent of like, basically like kid locked in an ice cream store, and he's like, wait a minute, I'm in. There's like nothing to get out, and then you just spooning. I mean, this guy probably hasn't eaten 25 flamingos in his whole life up to now, and he's just, oh my Lord. And yeah, it was at the DC National Zoo, killed 25 flamingos. I think there may have been some other hurt animals, but you can pick flamingos or foxes, overrated, underrated, or rightly rated.
I mean, flamingos definitely are overrated.
Yes.
But yeah, what else did he get into?
Oh, it was a duck. 25 flamingos and one northern pintail duck.
So here's what we need. Here's what we know now is we know that northern pintail ducks taste like ass because I was one of them and then ate 25 flamingos.
I was going the other way, that northern pintail ducks are badass, and he was like, yo, that wasn't worth it for like all that for just one. Let me go munch on these flamingos that just lay down when I come in. That was where I was going with that one. BG, flamingos are definitely overrated.
Yeah, definitely overrated. Foxes I think are pretty cool. But I don't know if they're underrated necessarily. I would say they're rightly rated, if anything. Swain, when you vacation with your family at Bald Head Island, have you ever seen a fox on the island there?
I have not actually seen a fox on the island.
We've got incredible to see.
We have a fox here. We've got a fox here in our neighborhood.
You gotta be careful with that. Be careful.
If you ever hear the sound a fox makes when it's like in heat,
it's crazy.
It sounds like a 4-year-old screaming at the top of their lungs.
100% does.
Yeah, I woke up at like 2 a.m. one night and heard what sounded like a small child in my backyard screaming. And we, turn the light on, and you can see the fox running back and forth. So,
you left out an important detail. You have a bunch of plastic flamingos lined up as lawn ornaments.
I felt like that was implied.
People have posted on like Nextdoor. They've posted like, "What's going on in our neighborhood?" And like everybody's like, "That's a fox. That's a fox." But like, it is a terrifying sound. I also like to think, have you ever heard those? And actually, recently I saw a video. It was in Japan. Remember back in the day where you used to have the arguments and be like, all right, you versus 25 3-year-olds in a fight. Like who wins? Or 5-year-olds or whatever. Like, could you beat 25 5-year-olds locked in a room? And I saw this video in Japan recently where it was like 3 real soccer players playing against 100 soccer players.
Yes, I've seen that. It's so good.
But there's a little bit of me that's like, okay. And it's same with like anytime you got, whether it's a Die Hard or a Steven Seagal, where it's like one dude fighting like 12, and you're like, fellas, quit taking them on one at a time. And like, that's kind of what I want to talk to the flamingo.
You don't remember the old Saturday Night Live skit with that? With the ninja coach?
With who?
With the ninja coach.
No.
I can't remember what actor it was, but he was like, all right, there's one guy. And he's like, he draws like 8 guys around him. He's like, all right, if we all get him at once, we will win the fight.
We can do this.
Let's go out there and just get him at one. And like, of course they go, and it's like one by one. They come back into the locker room, and he's like, Did no one listen to our game plan? We were all going to go, it's incredible.
That's kind of but like once the first flamingo goes down, the other flamingo's got to be like, look, if we all jump him, 3 or 4 of us are going to lose limbs, and maybe 1 or 2 of us even die. But there's no way this one fox can take 25 of us if we stick together with the plan. And I feel like the flamingos failed themselves. Their lack of group cohesion cost them as individuals. So shout out to the fox for getting it done. How fat was that fox when it was over?
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then finally, this one obviously has a North Carolina tie. We like to keep it in there. A wild goose chase. Pet duck help finds body of missing woman with dementia, granddaughter charged. This is in Buncombe County because, of course, it is. Now, this is a sad thing that happens more and more of like young people have grandparent that still lives or whatever, and they like either keep her alive and cash all her Social Security checks, or they kill her and sell all her stuff and still cash her Social Security checks. Don't tell anybody. It was basically that kind of case where these people hid the body under a trailer. And they had like searched for a while. This was not like, oh, they just walked on the property and this was a case that was not being solved until do they have the name of the duck? I can't remember. He disappeared under suspicious circumstances. I can't remember.
Probably hidden to protect the identity of the duck.
The duck, yes. Apparently the duck ran underneath the trailer at 11 Beady-Eyed Lane. As they were chasing after their pet duck, they ran across a container that Nellie Sullivan was located in. If I could give that duck a medal, I would, says the sheriff in Buncombe County. And yes, the people are being charged with this.
I think the duck should become the sheriff.
Yeah. I mean,
I think if a waterfowl cracks the case open like this, it should become sheriff.
It also did no one push the sheriff on that? If I could give this duck a medal, I would. What's keeping you from giving them the medal? Give them the medal.
Get a medal.
Don't tell us if you could, you can literally put a medal around the duck's neck. Do it right now, and I want to see a picture of that.
100%. Ducks overrated, underrated, or rightly rated. And have any of you ever heard of Candler, North Carolina? Because I must say I had not heard of Candler, North Carolina before.
No, but I will say that if you live on Beady-Eyed Lane, there's a 90% chance your name is Nellie.
Yeah, and a 90% chance that your grandkids are Sketch if you live on Beady-Eyed Lane. Ducks overrated, under is I can't tell what Andrea is saying yep to. Andrea, have you heard of Candler, North Carolina before? Oh, there we go. Look at all these people. I know it's in Buncombe County, so I know where it is. I'm just saying. I hadn't heard of
population of 26,000. Dang, man.
Andrea grew up outside. Is it Chandler and they misspelled it in the story? Because the story is Chandler.
It's an unincorporated community in Buncombe County.
Andrea used to go to parties on Beady-Eyed Lane all the time.
Do you know what well-known TV character had a pet duck? Chandler from Friends.
That's right. Oh man, incredible synergy here.
Yeah, everything goes back to Friends.
Interesting. All right, that is rightly rated. That is today's broadcast. Andrea may have gone to parties on Beady-Eyed Lane. Have a good weekend, fellas. Y'all got anything else?
No, enjoy the basketball. Oh, happy Mother's Day, right? We got to get the obligatory Happy Mother's Day in here before Sunday, right? So
yes. Happy Mother's Day to everyone except for
Mrs. Marchand.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to the Raleigh liberal moms. We talked a lot about moms today.
Raleigh liberal moms person. What is this Mother's Day thing? Is this a trick? Are they trying to get us to come out? Anyway, for Ben Swain, go ahead.
Well, just real quickly, I do want to, my mom listens to the show a fair amount, so happy Mother's Day to my mom. And real quickly, early voting still open for the next little bit. I went out and voted yesterday, so shout out to the good folks down at Chavis Community Center in downtown Raleigh. Smooth, efficient operation going on down there. Was in a matter of minutes. So
solid. Yeah. That is a very good reminder. Early voting is going on. I ran into a member of the Board of Elections yesterday, and he talked about how Sports Channel 8 does a good job of reminding people of those things. And now BG has done the thing. Swain, you know this. He just gave his mom a Mother's Day shout out personally. We did a blanket one, but now he's done it. So now if I don't do it, I'm a bad person.
Happy Mother's Day to both my mom and my wife, the mother of my kids.
Yeah. Happy birthday to my mom, my sister who is a mom, all the moms who I know. Yes, shout out to my mom as well. Happy Mother's Day.
And also RIP to the 25 Flamingos.
Yeah, rip.
Especially,
let's time to send a form a prayer circle here.
There's going to be some young flamingos celebrating their first Mother's Day without their flamingo moms. Sorry, they got outfoxed. For Swain, BG, the Weather Moose, and Josh Goodson. I'm getting the music right this time, boys. Sports Channel 8, we out.
Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field. Sports, when you like your team's chance.